So imagine this. You've got this world-famous chef, right? Celebrated everywhere for making food, accessible.
Yeah, household name.
Exactly. And then, bam, 2019, his entire restaurant empire just collapses. 25 places shut down.
Over 1,000 jobs gone, too. It was huge news.
And he personally lost, 25 million pounds? Pouring his own money and trying to save it.
His own cash. A last-ditch effort that just didn't work. I mean, talk about a public failure. High stakes.
Totally devastating. You'd think that would be it, right? Maybe disappear for a bit.
You really would. Seemed like the end of an era, honestly.
And yet, okay, here's the kicker. Fast forward to, say, mid-2025.
Yeah.
That same chef, Jamie Oliver, estimated net worth is heading towards $200 million.
Wow. 200 million.
200 million. So the question is how? I mean, how on earth do you bounce back from that kind of public, massive collapse to that level of success again? What was the spark, the catalyst?
It's such a compelling story because the answer isn't, just his charisma, which he obviously has, or even his media stuff, which was still there.
Right.
It actually points to something much more focused, something, surprisingly simple, but incredibly powerful.
It is.
Basically, one simple veggie dish.
A veggie dish. Okay. And that's what we're diving into today, isn't it? This is like a masterclass in reinvention.
Exactly.
We're going to unpack how this one idea, this seemingly small thing, reshaped his money, his brand, his whole public influence.
Yeah, it's not really about cooking per se. It's about transformation. It's about finding purpose after failure.
Okay, let's get into it. How did he manage this? So maybe we should rewind a little first. Back in the early 2000s, Jamie Oliver wasn't just like a chef. He was huge, a cultural thing.
Oh, absolutely. The Naked Chef, Jamie's Kitchen, he made cooking feel, real. Like anyone could do it. Democratic, almost.
Yeah, totally. So when he launched Jamie's Italian in 2008, the idea was solid, right? Good food for everyone, not crazy expensive.
And it exploded, didn't it? For a while, anyway. Over 40 restaurants by 2014. People seemed to love it. Good quality, decent prices.
Looked like a sure thing from the outside.
Yeah, on the surface, it looked like nonstop growth. But underneath, things were getting shaky. Costs were going up and up.
Rent on the high street, I bet.
Exactly. UK high street rents were soaring, plus massive competition. Loads of smaller, maybe trendier places popping up, more agile. And here's the real kicker, the irony. The public, partly thanks to Jamie himself, was shifting, eating healthier, cooking more at home, more plant-based stuff.
Wait, so his own message was kind of working against his restaurants?
In a weird way, yeah. The philosophy he'd been pushing for years actually contributed to the decline of that specific restaurant model. It's fascinating.
Wow, that's unexpected. And then came the crash, May 2019 administration.
Yep, 22 out of 25 restaurants just gone overnight, pretty much. Over 1,000 people lost their jobs.
The sources really paint a picture of just utter devastation. Not just the money, but the emotional side, too. He said he was absolutely devastated, deeply sorry.
And remember, he'd put that $25 million of his own money in, trying to stop it.
Yeah, a very, very public fall.
For most people, that really would be the end. A total wipeout, a cautionary tale.
But not Jamie Oliver. He didn't just vanish or get defensive. He reflected, took a step back, reevaluated everything. And it's in that quiet reflection, that pause, that he found this really key insight, a game changer.
What was that?
He realized people didn't necessarily need a Jamie Oliver restaurant anymore. What they needed was a Jamie Oliver mindset in their own kitchens.
Okay. Shifting the focus.
Totally. He even said something like, I tried to do too much too fast. Failure taught me what scale really means and what's truly worth scaling. It wasn't about square footage anymore.
It was about changing behavior, expanding habits, not buildings.
Exactly. Stopped chasing physical locations, started building knowledge, building skills.
And the sort of symbolic moment for this whole shift, this reset, it wasn't in some fancy meeting room. It was actually in a school classroom.
Right, in Huntington, West Virginia, during the Food Revolution filming.
Yeah, that famous scene.
That incredible scene, yeah. With the kids who didn't even know what a tomato was, a fresh tomato. And he made them that simple lettuce wrap. Grilled chicken, fresh herbs, so simple.
And the story goes, one little boy tasted it and just started crying, and then Jamie started crying too.
Yeah. It was described as the emotional opposite of fine dining. Just raw connection.
And that's the key takeaway, isn't it? It wasn't just about the recipe itself. It was the emotion, the connection, the power of something simple, easy to repeat, but deeply resonant.
It showed him, I guess, that real impact and maybe even sustainable income didn't have to come from those high-cost restaurant chains.
Exactly. It could come from reaching people directly in their homes with something basic but meaningful.
So after the whole restaurant empire crumbled, he didn't just fade away. He did something, well, it seems counterintuitive maybe, but it turned out to be genius.
Which was?
He stopped focusing on feeding people in restaurants and started teaching them how to feed themselves.
Ah, the education angle.
Yeah.
Shifting the whole brand identity.
Completely. The brand wasn't about restaurant tables anymore. It was rebuilt, like you said, around kitchen tables. At home.
And this is where that simple idea becomes a really smart, scalable strategy. I mean, food doesn't need a shop front, right? It needs a story. He had the story.
Definitely. And think about the timing. Late 2020, lockdowns, food prices going up.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. And his content just changes completely. No more sleek studios. It's him. Low-cost meals, like 5 ingredients max, often shot really simply, natural light.
And he left the mistakes in, didn't he? The rough cuts made it feel authentic, relatable.
Totally. And remember that roasted cabbage wedge? Went viral.
Cabbage wedge.
Yeah.
Cost what, like $2 to make? Millions of views.
Suddenly, a humble cabbage is a symbol of resilience. Amazing.
And that really shows that Trojan horse strategy you mentioned earlier.
Explain that a bit more, the Trojan horse idea.
Well, think about it. The Trojan horse looks harmless, simple, right? But inside, it carries something powerful. That simple veggie dish, like the cabbage, it was a gateway.
The gateway to what?
To cooking. It lowered the barrier massively, made it feel achievable, not intimidating, especially for people struggling. It offered, a bit of dignity. Good food doesn't have to be fancy or expensive.
That's a powerful message. Strategic, actually. It's behavior design, just disguised as a recipe.
Exactly. And he didn't just do one dish, he leaned right into it. Revived his old Ministry of Food idea, turned it into the food skills movement.
Right, getting into schools?
Yeah, over 500 schools in the UK and Australia by 2023. Teaching basic chopping, seasonal stuff, cooking on a budget, real life skills.
And then the TV show, Cooking for Less, that was huge too, wasn't it? Apparently boosted supermarket sales of things like cabbage.
It did. Direct impact. Plus, he invested heavily in the digital side, online courses, meal planners, his YouTube channel, which is massive.
So the genius here is the scalability, right? But without all the old overheads. No rent, fewer staff.
Precisely. He said it himself. If we can teach someone to make one veggie dish, we can unlock a whole chain of behavior change.
And like the sources say, one TikTok video of a veggie dish can hit 20 million views instantly.
Compare that to the, 40 restaurants he needed before just to serve maybe 20,000 people a day. It's a different universe of scale.
He didn't just switch industries, he switched his whole model.
Yeah.
His whole purpose almost.
Yeah, he aligned the brand with education, with wellness. He turned that massive failure into the foundation for something much, much more durable, more meaningful, arguably, than any restaurant chain.
Okay, so he loses millions, his reputation takes a massive knock. But somehow, he ends up building this $200 million net worth without any restaurants.
How? Well, the key thing is, despite everything, he never really lost his biggest asset.
Which was?
His influence. And the public's trust, or at least a large chunk of it.
Right. People still listen to him.
Exactly. And he learned how to leverage that influence in a different way. That $200 million figure, it's not coming from selling pasta in restaurants anymore.
So where's it coming from?
It's pretty much all intellectual property, media deals, and smart partnerships. Very little brick and mortar risk.
Okay, let's break that down. Revenue streams, books, obviously, have always been huge for him.
Oh, yeah. Over 25 cookbooks, translated into 30 languages? 30-Minute Meals was the fastest-selling nonfiction book ever in the UK at the time.
Insane. And even after the restaurant collapse, books like 5 Ingredients in One were massive bestsellers globally.
And think about it. Each book isn't just income. It's marketing. It drives people to his shows, his website, his courses. It all connects. Compounding value.
Smart. Okay, what else? TV and streaming.
Big time. Long-term deals with Channel 4, BBC, Discovery. Shows like Keep Cooking and Carry On During Lockdown, Jamie. Together, Cooking for Less, Veggie Reboot.
It's aired everywhere, right? Global reach.
Yep. Global airing plus product placements, sponsorships, that steady long-term income. And don't forget YouTube, over 6 million subscribers. That's serious ad revenue and affiliate potential, all without needing a physical space.
Okay, books, TV. What about products? He has cookware lines and stuff, right?
Definitely. High-profile collaborations, big partnerships with supermarkets like Tesco in the UK, Woolworths in Australia for recipes, meal kits, and his cookware line with Tefal is huge.
And the beauty of those deals is?
Infrastructure-free income, basically. He lends his name, his philosophy, his recipes. The partner, like Tefal or Tesco, handles the manufacturing, the logistics, the investment. He gets paid for the brand value.
Very clever.
Yeah.
Love risk, steady income.
Absolutely. And finally, there's the digital side we touched on, the online cooking classes, the meal planners, the recipe apps. Especially during and after lockdown, that stuff took off.
Right. People were stuck at home needing ideas.
Exactly. And these are low-cost things to produce and scale globally. They generate recurring revenue from loyal followers. It's like you said, you don't need 20 restaurants when you've got 20 million people cooking your recipes at home.
That just completely redefines what kitchen real estate means, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No waiters, no huge bills, no supply chain nightmares.
Just a camera, maybe a cabbage.
Yeah, cabbage and a chef who really got that. In this digital age, attention and influence are the real assets.
And that leads to the next question, right? How did that simple veggie dish become such a powerful tool, such an effective Trojan horse for actually changing behavior long term?
Yeah, because it wasn't just about nice recipes. He seemed to be engineering something deeper, reprogramming how people approach food.
Well, that strategic simplicity was absolutely key. That one veggie dish idea wasn't random. It followed a really strict formula.
Which was?
5 ingredients or fewer, under 30 minutes, low cost, good nutrition, and crucially, no fancy equipment needed.
So designed to remove all the usual excuses, the intimidation factor.
Precisely. The goal was one dish, one success. That first positive experience is critical. It starts to rewire your feelings about cooking.
He understood that little win could spark something bigger.
Exactly. Teach a simple skill, get people to repeat it, then they start adapting it, feeling confident, and suddenly their identity changes. I'm someone who can cook.
And he hammered it home, didn't he? Didn't just show a recipe once.
No way! He repeated it constantly, everywhere. TV, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, school lessons, community centers, the same simple dishes again and again.
So seeing it everywhere made it feel normal.
Yeah.
Less scary.
Normalized it. Yeah. Made it viral, embedded it in the culture. It wasn't just making content, it was designing a movement.
And the emotional angle was crucial too, you said.
Hugely. He always wrapped these dishes in stories. The kid trying broccoli, the parent feeling proud cooking for their family on a budget, these little micro dramas.
Why does that work so well?
It's basic neuroscience, really. Emotion anchors memory. It makes things stick. You remember the feeling associated with the dish, not just the ingredients. Makes you more likely to actually do it.
His food wasn't just tasty, it was memorable because of the story.
Exactly. And he got that habits aren't formed in a vacuum. They're part of bigger systems.
What do you mean?
So his veggie dishes didn't just stay in home kitchens. They became part of school lunch standards. They showed up in supermarket flyers. They were built into food literacy programs. He used the same simple recipes across all these different levels: homes, schools, policy.
Turning food into infrastructure almost.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Remember his TED Talk back in 2010, the TED Prize?
Vaguely, yeah.
He said, "Give me one dish and I'll change a family. Give me one curriculum and I'll change a country."
And he wasn't kidding, was he? You see the impact on school lunches in the UK, for example.
Absolutely. Heavily influenced by his push for simpler, veggie-focused menus.
So the real genius was packing all this complex system-level change into something super simple and repeatable.
Totally. Those veggie dishes, cheap to film, easy to demonstrate, looked good on camera, perfect for sharing online. It created this amazing content flywheel.
Flywheel.
Yeah, each piece of content, a TikTok, a recipe card, a TV segment, fueled the next one. Consistency, shareability, impact. And ultimately, it monetized itself through his various platforms. Behavior change dressed up as dinner.
Brilliant, really. That strategic simplicity was the engine of the whole comeback.
And it totally reshaped his role.
Right. By 2025, he's not just seen as a celebrity chef anymore. The sources call him a cultural architect.
Yeah, it's a big shift. And it wasn't accidental. It was a long game, built on systems thinking, and importantly, rebuilding that public trust.
After the restaurant collapse, you'd think he'd lay low. But he leaned in.
Exactly. He leaned into creating public value, not just private profit. He realized long-term influence isn't about owning buildings, it's about owning mind share, built through education, empathy, connection.
And aligning himself with bigger things, like policy.
Yes. His Feed Me Better campaign in the UK was a great example. It directly helped secure hundreds of millions in funding for better school meals. He partnered with health departments in other countries, too.
So he wasn't fighting the system from the outside.
No, he was working within it, quietly, persistently influencing it. Instead of just opening another restaurant, he's helping redesign school menus nationwide.
Instead of just licensing his name on a product.
He's licensing whole curriculums to nonprofits and governments. Instead of noisy lobbying, he partners with supermarkets to subtly change what millions of people see and buy. It's institutional strategy.
Wow. And that led to the 10 Skills for Life program in 2024.
Yep. Aiming to get basic food literacy to every UK student by 2030. Already in over 500 schools. It's low cost, easy for teachers, resonates emotionally.
And it's built around that same core idea.
One dish, one habit, one transformation. He's the catalyst, the architect, the ghost in the machine, influencing from within.
He's building cultural resilience, not just a business.
Exactly. The brand is decentralized now. Books, schools, TV, online courses, campaigns. It's everywhere, but unified. Personal, yet systemic. That's the long game. Embedding values, not just chasing trends. Scaling ideas, not just operations.
What's also really striking is how he used personal struggles, not just the business failure, as part of this.
You mean the dyslexia?
Yeah. He was very open about his lifelong struggle with reading and writing, revealing his diagnosis publicly in 2023. That takes courage.
It really does. And instead of hiding it, he turned it into, well, fuel. He talked about being called slow or dunce, but understanding it was about wiring, not intelligence.
Once I accepted that, I rewired my life. That's a powerful quote.
Isn't it? And he didn't just talk about it. He made a documentary, Jamie's Dyslexia Revolution, explored learning through food and storytelling, made something deeply personal feel universal.
And he even started working with researchers on neurodiversity.
Yeah, looking into how cooking itself might help kids with ADHD or dyslexia, improving cognitive skills. That's not just PR. It's using his platform for genuine social exploration. Adds real depth.
So it seems like a pattern. Converting damage into direction.
Absolutely. Restaurants fail. Double down on simple recipes. Early fame fades. Build lasting curriculum. Personal learning challenges. Create resources for others. He didn't just rebuild, he expanded because of the failures.
Building something that could actually last.
Exactly. His influence now isn't measured in restaurants or stars. It's in, school systems reformed, family habits shifted, the quiet confidence of a teenager cooking their first meal. He built something enduring.
So, okay, wrapping this up. What's the big takeaway here for you listening to this? Jamie Oliver's story.
Yeah.
It's not really just about celebrity or cash, is it?
Not at its core, no. It's about how he responded to that ruined empire. He made a choice. Not to rebuild the same old walls, but to, as the source puts it, plant seeds in a totally different ground.
Yeah, most people facing that kind of loss, that public failure, they'd retreat, right? Protect themselves.
Instinctively, yes, but he did the opposite. He went right back to basics, to that classroom in West Virginia, to a kid who didn't know a tomato, back to one simple veggie dish.
Because maybe when everything's stripped away, the title, the empire, the certainty, you get this clarity. You get to ask, okay, what am I really here to do?
And for him, it seems it was never just about the food itself. It was about connection, about culture, about that fundamental idea that what we eat shapes who we are.
He turned crisis not just into content, but into
curriculum, community, into this quiet, sustainable kind of power. It really makes you rethink success, doesn't it? Maybe real wealth isn't just about what you build when things are good.
It's what you build when everything seems broken.
Exactly. What you innovate, what you make last through the tough times.
For Jamie Oliver, that $200 million, maybe it's secondary. Secondary to the influence without ego, the impact without noise. A legacy made of recipes that changed how people think about food.
One dish at a time.
So maybe the question for you listening is, what's your veggie dish?
Yeah. What's that one small thing? Simple, honest, something you can repeat that could spark some change in your world.
It might not make you $200 million, obviously, but maybe it changes how someone eats or how they feel about themselves in the kitchen, maybe in a classroom, maybe just in a difficult moment.
Yeah, that little thing can have big ripples.
So here's an invitation. Think about it. Maybe share it with us if you like. What's one dish, one simple act that changed how you see food? Or maybe something bigger?
We genuinely love to hear those stories.
Because sometimes, the biggest legacies really do start with something small, humble, like a cabbage. And if this deep dive gave you something to chew on, well, Keep exploring, not just for us.
But for that version of you that wants to play the long game, too.